Hi, everybody. Welcome to NerdChat. This is Rick.
Hi, I didn't start for once. I'm Josh. Change is good.
Welcome to, what is this, episode 4 of Nerds Explain?
Let's not go with those numbers.
Whatever. It's Nerds Explain. It's the next one.
The last one was half an hour long. That might get slashed into 2.
Okay. Well, today we are going to be covering Star Wars Infinities: A New Hope. Now, quick reference for Star Wars Infinities. What it is it takes a storyline that you already know and love, like New Hope, and fragments one fraction in the chain of events and creates a totally different alternate history.
Okay.
So everything you know of New Hope, is normal up to the point. And the point where this story, being New Hope, gets fractured is when Luke tries to destroy the Death Star. So everything before that is normal.
Okay.
So...
Does everyone think that he's a big dick for not using his target?
It's so good, man. Okay, so everything's normal. Like, Luke and Han rescue Leia, get him out of the Death Star, and Ben dies fighting Darth Vader and everything like that. And then Luke, they get to the point where they're taking out the Death Star, and Luke fires his proton torpedoes, but one of them fucking blows up early in the exhaust port. So they don't both hit the reactor, and the Death Star doesn't blow up because one of them goes off early. And they're like,
so it still did at least go in the port.
They both go in the port,
okay.
Yeah. But they're like, oh shit, well, you did what you could, Luke. At this point, we all need to run away. And Tarkin's like, fuck that, blow up Yavin. And they're like, we don't have enough power, we shouldn't do that. And he's like, no, fuck that, blow up Yavin. So he fires the Death Star, it hits Yavin, and all the rebels are like, fuck, we're gonna die. And they don't die. Like, the base is just rubble and the planet's like shaking, but it's not gone.
Okay.
Because he damaged the power grid. So then all the rebels are like trying to get away, and Vader's not stranded, so Vader leads like a big fleet of ships to go capture the rest of the rebellion.
Okay.
So the rebellion is now gone. Everyone is either captured or dead except for Han and Luke, who are then trying to escape.
Okay.
And Luke, thinking everyone is dead, including Leia, snaps. And he shoots down like 40 TIE fighters, and he's just like screaming as he's shooting them all down, and Han's like, Chewie, we should help. So they're like shooting down TIE fighters and stuff. And Obi-Wan comes in, or like his ghost, and he's like, Luke, don't give in to your anger. You can't give in. You're the only hope left now. The rebellion's gone. So he sends Luke to go to Dagobah, but because Luke can't, like, they're still fighting, Han and Luke end up working together, and they hyperdrive away. And so then as they get away, they only get so far because Luke's X-Wing is it's messed up. So Luke has to board the Millennium Falcon. And he's like, Han, I need your help. Like, I need to do this, and the we need to fix this. And Han's like, the rebellion's dead, man. There's nothing we can do except lay low and protect ourselves. So that pisses Luke off, and they get into a fight. And once again, old Ben comes in, Force Ghost, and he's like, Luke, you need to, like, calm down. And Luke's like, I'm trying, Ben. There's only so much I can do. And Han's just like, old Ben, are you nuts, dude? Like, who are you talking to right now? Because Luke's, like, talking to old Ben's ghost in front of Han. It's just like...
But Han can't see it. He's not more sensitive, so yeah.
Han's just like, dude, are you going to be okay? But he calms Luke down, and Luke's like, Han, I'm sorry. Because they were like lightsaber and blaster out, like fighting. And Luke's like, I'm sorry, man. I need your help. I have to go to a planet called Dagobah. And Han's like, alright, let's do this. So Han goes to take Luke to Dagobah.
Okay.
But that's when we get a flashback. Or not a flashback. We get to see Leia being brought before the Emperor.
Okay.
By Darth Vader. And basically, the Emperor tells her, he's like, oh, we're not going to let you die. We're not going to kill you. And we're not going to let you kill yourself because you're going to be cared for and fed like a family pet. You're going to be a symbol of the failed rebellion. And he sends her away, and Darth Vader feels a disturbance in the Force, but the Emperor tells him to just put it away, put it behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know what Vader's feeling is that Leia's his daughter.
Yeah.
But the Emperor's like, no, put that away. That shit don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So then we see Luke and Han arrive on Dagobah, and they land in the swamp, like almost the same place where Luke's X-wing crashes. And they're like Han and Chewie are like walking to shore, and they see the thing that grabs R2 earlier, and Han just fucking shoots it, and he's like, "Let's go to Dagobah, Han. It'll be fun, Han." So having Han along for all this stuff is great. And they're looking for Master Yoda, and Han's just like, "I don't know what we're doing. It's just a bunch of Jedi nonsense." And they find Yoda, and he's like, "Looking for someone, are you?" And he does the same shit he does with Luke.
But Han's not gonna fucking play that game, is he?
He drags him to the house, and Luke's like, "That's it, I'm done playing this game. We don't have time for your stuff. We gotta go find Master Yoda." And Han's just like, "Don't you get it? He's Yoda." And Luke's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "It takes a con man to know one."
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's so good. And Luke's just like smacking his head on the roof. He's so frustrated. It's just like, that guy. So then we go back to Coruscant, which is where Vader has Leia.
Uh-huh.
And he comes to her, and she's like on her own in her room, and he's like, "Look, I'm not here to torture you. I'm trying to show you that now that the war is over, we can potentially have peace, and I have a gift." So he brings her C-3PO and gives 3PO back to her because 3PO was captured, along with the rest of the rebellion. And he holds up a lightsaber and he says, "Do you know what this is?" And she said, "The weapon you used to murder Obi-Wan Kenobi. Haven't you learned by now that you can't threaten me with this?" And he says, "No, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber." And so he hands her the lightsaber, and she turns it on. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Can you feel it? Can you feel that power? It's like an extension of yourself." And she lashes out at Vader.
Yeah.
Now, Vader's powerful, so he easily deflects it and protects himself. And she's just striking over and over again. And he's like, "Again, release your anger. Your anger makes you powerful. But it can also be your weakness." And she's just lashing out, and eventually she stops because she's like tired and she's like weakened, and he takes the blade from her. Mm-hmm. And she falls, and she's like, "No, give it back." And he's like, "You felt it, like an extension of yourself being ripped away." And he said, because he basically says that you're not a prisoner, you have choices. And then as he's walking away, he says, "As I said before, you have choices, and a new door is opening." So then we get a little bit of a time skip. Okay. And it goes 2 months later. So this is the first time skip, and it's a short one. It's only about 2 months. And it goes back to Dagobah, where we see Han and Chewie, who are arguing over the Falcon because they have been stuck there for 2 months because Chewie hasn't been able to fix whatever the problem is.
Yeah.
And
they can't get the Falcon out.
And they couldn't get the Falcon out. So Yoda and Luke help get the Falcon out of the swamp, and Luke says he wishes he could go with because he feels like he's not doing anything here. Mm-hmm. And Han's like, "Well, man, all you gotta do is say the word and I'll help you load your stuff back on the Falcon." But Yoda says, "Your training is not complete. If you leave now, follow the same path as Vader. You're gonna end up as Vader."
Yeah.
And Luke doesn't want that because as far as Luke knows, Vader is the one who killed his father because he never has that encounter on Bespin. Mm-hmm. So and Han goes, "All right, well, I'm gonna leave, but if you need me, you can call." And Luke goes, "Well, even a Jedi's eventually gonna need a ride, and you'll know when. Mm-hmm. You'll know when to come get me." Then we go back to Vader and Leia again. And they're talking about how the Empire is actually seeing peace. So now that the war is over, the Empire is actually starting to divert its vast resources into maintaining peace, like fixing issues and things like that. like the infrastructure of Coruscant and things like that.
Okay.
And Vader says the Emperor's dying. He won't last forever, and the future should be built by those who are going to live in it. So basically, Vader and Palpatine are grooming Leia to take over the Empire.
Oh.
Because Vader doesn't know, but Palpatine knows that she is a Skywalker.
Okay.
But he knows that because Vader's so damaged, so warped, he's not a true successor to the throne anymore.
Yeah.
So they're grooming her to be that. And then the last part we see before that time skip is back on Dagobah.
Okay.
So we see Luke's cave trial. You know, when Yoda goes in there, your weapons, you will not need them.
Yeah.
He goes in there. It's the same as usual. He fights the Vader Phantom, except this time he sees Leia's face in the helmet
instead of his own.
Instead of his own.
Okay.